What is up, guys? I've been getting a lot of questions about how I feel about Iceman, and people have been asking me if I think that he's going to be a strong hero or not. So we have his hero cards pulled up here on Hall of Heroes, and I just downloaded a screen recording app on Microsoft Edge. So I'm not sure how the video quality or the audio is going to be, but we're going to try it out and just see what happens. So this is going to be a short little I guess, teaser for Iceman and just letting you know what I think about each of his cards. So let's go ahead and start off with his alter ego here, Bobby Drake. So he has 4 recovery, which is really good. Hand size of 6, which is the standard, and 11 hit points. So I already like his stat line right now. He has a mutant trait. Bobby Drake begins the game with 6 frostbite upgrades set aside. So those are, let's see, these things right here. So these upgrades, he has 6 of them, and basically they're permanent attachments. And then whatever enemy that has them has a -1 scheme and -1 attack. And after the attached enemy activates or leaves play, this card is set aside. So pretty much, I think this is a really cool concept with a Iceman. I just forgot his name. Um, I think it's super duper cool and very thematic. Pretty much everyone that he touches will get a frostbite, and that enemy will have -1 scheme and -1 attack. Okay, so back to his alter ego. He'll start the game with 6 frostbites. I think that is more than enough frostbites that he will need, especially in solo. Maybe in multiplayer he might need more, but I really think that 6 is like more than enough. So far it looks great. Cool off is his response. After you change to this form, shuffle 1 ice card from your discard pile into your deck for each copy of Frostbite in play. So this could be really powerful or not that good, depending on how many copies of Frostbite that you have whenever you flip over to Alter Ego. This reminds me of Miles Morales' response whenever he flips over, where you can add a Miles Morales Spider-Man card into your deck and shuffle up. Um, I think that this might be cool for some alter ego shenanigans, especially with another card that we'll see later on. I'm talking about Frozen Solid here, where, okay, I'm kind of jumping like all over the place. Let's just go through Frozen Solid because I think this is one of his coolest cards. So hero form only, attach an enemy, max 1 per enemy. Force interrupt when attached enemy would activate, discard Frozen Solid instead. Then attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. I think this is a super duper cool card. It's kind of like a webbed up from Peter Parker Spider-Man, but I love how it cancels out any activation. So even a scheme activation, I mean. So I'm not the biggest fan of stasis like stuns or confused because of enemies that have stalwart, but this frozen solid will block out a scheme activation, guaranteed. It's kind of like a better version of a confuse. So I think this is really really cool. And if you're flipping over with this card in play, then you will be able to stop the enemy from scheming. The only issue that I see with that is that I want this card back in the deck, and if it's in play with Bobby Drake's Alter Ego ability to cool off, you can only get an ice card from your discard pile. So I would love to keep recycling that card, but if you're flipping over to get that, pseudo confuse off, then you won't be able to get that card back. But yeah, I mean, I think this card definitely adds versatility, or I mean, this ability, I mean. And I think overall it's a good, decent ability that is going to be good for him, adding an ice card back. Okay, let's take a look at his hero form here. So Iceman has a 1 Thor, 2 attack, 2 defense stat line. He has 5 hand size, which is the standard, and the same 11 hit points. And then let's see, his ability is freeze. It's an interrupt. When Iceman makes a basic attack or defense against an enemy, attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. Um, so I'm assuming this means a basic attack or basic defense. So basic is asking you to exhaust Iceman. I'm not sure this defense is going to be a basic defense or not. It feels like it is with this right here. If it's not a basic defense, that would be really cool because you can play stuff like Defiance, which will count as a defensive action. So I'm just not sure with what this means. But if it does mean a basic attack or defense, that will kind of limit the amount of frostbite that you can put. So this is the frostbite card that we're talking about. Um, so I'm not sure if, yeah, I personally feel like if he has to make a basic attack or a basic defense against the enemy, I think it's really cool. It's super thematic. Basically, everyone that he touches is going to get frostbite here. So I think he's going to be super duper fun to play for sure. But I feel like power wise and versatility wise, this condition is a little bit annoying because we have to exhaust him to make that basic attack or basic defense. Um, and I'm hoping that he'll have some more readies in his kit because this is a pretty annoying trigger, especially against the more difficult villains because they often exhaust you or force you to um, not be able to make a basic attack or defense. I'm thinking about like with Thanos' helmet, his armor, Magneto's helmet, his armor, like stuff where you have to make a basic attack and spend 2 resources to discard. I often find myself not able to make that basic attack just because it's just I'm always exhausted or I just can't find a situation to be readied up. Especially against like Hela and Loki, where they're always going to be exhausting you. That might be a little bit annoying. So I'm hoping he has some readies in his kit. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's really thematic, and I feel like it's gonna be a really fun playstyle. He has the Ice trait and X-Men trait. Okay, so they're not doing, or it seems like they're not going to do X-Force anymore. So it's back to the X-Men trait here. Okay, yeah, overall, I think he's super thematic, and it's gonna feel like you're actually putting ice on every character. So I really like how that feels. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. Um, yeah, okay, cool. So let's take a look. Okay, so we already looked at Frostbite. The attached enemy gets -1 scheme and -1 attack. Yeah, that's gonna be I really like the -1 scheme here. I feel that almost gives him an opportunity to flip down more. And definitely, I think Iceman is gonna be a lot better in multiplayer than he is in solo. Because if you have -1 scheme and -1 attack on the villain, if you're in solo, then the villain's only going to be using either the scheme or the attack, so you won't really get that advantage every time. Oh no, wait, that doesn't matter anyways because after they activate one time, it's going to go away. Yeah, with the force response. So I mean, either way, though, I still think he is a better multiplayer hero. But yeah, yeah, I really like the -1 scheme for it just gives you more opportunity to flip over to Alter Ego. You guys know me, I love flipping over to Alter Ego. So I like how the Frostbite here helps him flip. And especially if you have the Frozen Solid, that Pseudo Confuse is going to be really, really good too. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at his next card. So he has Ice Wall here. This is a 4 cost support. I think all of his cards have this Ice trait, which is really good for a team building exercise. So it's a force interrupt. When an identity would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, place that damage here instead. Then, if there's at least 8 damage here, discard this card and attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to an enemy that just attacked. Okay, that is really, really cool. Okay, so I'm imagining Iceman literally putting up a wall of ice here, and it's a force interrupt. So anytime that you or any other player that you're playing with in multiplayer, if you guys take damage, you must put the damage on here instead. Um, so it would be cool if we can choose, but I guess it's less thematic, right? So Iceman pretty much just put the ice wall, and until the enemies chip away at that wall, all the damage will go on there. I think it's a really cool concept. Um, it is a little bit expensive at 4 cost, but definitely for multiplayer to block out damage from other um, players, I think that's cool. I think a distinction here is that it has to be from an enemy attack, so it's not all sorts of damage, which can be good and bad. It's just specific triggers to require it. I mean to meet the requirements to trigger it. And then let's see. Yeah, okay. So this is kind of just like it reminds me of Magneto's bubble, I guess, but an ice wall. So that's a pretty cool and unique card. Next, we have his Arctic Attack. So there's a 2 cost attack event. Hero action and choose. Do 4 damage to an enemy and attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to it, or do 6 damage to an enemy with Frostbite attached. Okay, so this is cool because this is a way to give Iceman a way to attach Frostbite to an enemy without already being, if he's already exhausted, I mean. Because before he had to make that basic attack or basic defense, but now he can, even if he's exhausted and can't defend, if you play an Arctic attack, you can put a copy of Frostbite. And I'm assuming a lot of his cards will have to do with enemies that have Frostbite already on them. So I like that you can put it on without just his basic, like his basic activations. I mean, and then if you do have it for your final burst damage, if you already have the frostbite attached to them, it's a 2 for 6, which is really good. I mean, 2 for 4 is pretty decent anyways, and to attach the frostbite. So this is a really good card. Yeah, and yeah, it's not as unique as other cards, but I think this will help out with this power a lot. It's attack, ice, and superpower. So Death Focus would be a good way to get this card out. Next, we have Ice Blast. So it's a 3 cost event. It is not an attack, but it is a superpower. So Death Focus works for this as well. I'm thinking for like Venom Goblin, where you need to discard attack events for his Advanced Glider. This is a 3 cost, but it's not an attack event, so we won't be able to discard this. It'll have to be multiple copies of the Arctic attack here, which is still fine, but it's going to be a little bit harder without putting other aspect cards that have attack events, especially if Iceman is going to be trying solo Venom Goblin. Okay, so this is a hero action. Choose a player, attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to the villain. Okay, that's really cool. And each minion engage with that player. Do 3 damage to each enemy with a copy of Frostbite attached. Okay, this is super duper cool. So it's really just feels like he's doing Ice Blast, right? He's icing up everyone, giving everyone a Frostbite. Yeah, that's very thematic. That's got to be super fun to do. So you just attach a bunch of Frostbites to everyone, and then you do 3 damage to each enemy. It's not an attack, so there's no retaliate, which I love. This is a great way to kill out minions. Um, and each minion gave that player. So if you're facing Ultron and you have like 5 drone minions, you can attach frostbite if you have because you have 6 frostbites. Put 1 Ultron, put 5 on each drone minion, and you just wipe them all out. So this is a great AOE thing too. I'm thinking for something like Mutation Formula, where Green Goblin has those Goblin Thralls. If you have a lot of them, you can do 3 damage to each of them too. Yeah, he's a great way to handle minions here, especially weaker minions with the Ice Blast. This is like really a really fun card. Okay, next he has his first upgrade that we're seeing here. It's a 2 cost upgrade. Cryokinetic Perception. Okay, and it's a superpower too, so I think Death Focus is definitely get a lot of use with Iceman. So it says hero response after you resolve your freeze ability. Exhaust this card and draw 1 card. So after you resolve freeze, so I'm pretty sure freeze is yes. So freeze is his interrupt after you make a basic attack or defense. I'm not sure this is a basic defense or not against an enemy. So after you attach this frostbite through Iceman, then let's go back to this. So after you do that, you can exhaust the cryokinetic perception and draw a card. Okay, so it's only limited basically once per phase because you have to exhaust it. You get a card draw, so that's pretty good. If that card has the ice trait ready, Iceman. Okay, so it's kind of oof. I don't really like this part right here. I feel like, especially if the deck is milled and uses Ultra Ego ability over here. Let's go back. So if you use Ultra Ego ability and the deck's already low, you can almost guarantee getting this ice card. But other than that, it seems like it's pretty much all going to be luck based. So you can't count on that ready if you need him to thwart for 1 or something to clear off a side scheme. You can't really plan in advance unless you know it's going to be an ice card. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. I wish there was another way for him to ready with that. Yeah, I just feel like this is going to be a very luck based thing. But I do like how he has a thing to help him draw a card. Um, but that will be if he uses a basic exhaust. You can also do this in the villain phase. It seems, yeah, because if you use your freeze ability when you're defending during the villain phase, you can draw that card, and then that would be really cool during the villain phase because then you can ready Iceman right after he defends. It's just I don't know how often we can get the ice card. If we can get it a lot, it's really good. If not, then it's kind of conditional. And I don't like that luck based condition. Overall, the first part of this ability is really, really good. I'm not the biggest fan of this ice trade part. Let's take a look at his next card, see if there's anything else that. Okay, so he has a 2-cost ally here, the Snow Clone. It doesn't have any Thor. 2 attack, takes 1 consequential damage, 2 hit points, ice traded. So we still can use team building exercise for this. X-Men trait as well. Cannot have upgrades attached. Snow Clone takes -1 consequential damage after it attacks an enemy with Frostbite attached. Um, okay, I mean, it's just an ally that's 2 cost and 2 hit points, which is really, really good. So it's really cool that he has it in his kit. At worst, you can just play it, attack for 2, and then just chump block. So I think this is a really cool way to just have a hero specific ally for him. And it's really thematic, a snow clone. I think that's super cool. He says here, you could say he's got an icy demeanor. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, it's Iceman is just literally just making, ice clones here. Um, you could Voltron him. I don't know if I would care about Voltroning him. He's just doing what 2 attack every single turn. Especially like it can help keep minions under control, but then you have to attach frostbite to it. I don't know how good it would be with the Voltron. It would be really cool if he had at least 1 Thor. Yeah, I think that Thor would be really, really big because then he could help you throw out side schemes and stuff like that. But the fact he doesn't have any Thor is a little bit annoying and just gives him a little bit less versatility, especially for early game when I'm trying to set up. I want to focus more on thwarting before I need that pinging of damage every single turn. But still, I mean, it's 2 cost ally with 2 hit points, so he's a great chump blocker. And I think it's the mag to have him jump block too, because he's an ice clone. He's not like a real ally that's blocking for you. So I think that's a really cool card. Next we have Ice Slide here. It's a 2 cost upgrade. Okay, cool. We got another upgrade here. Ice and Superpower. So team building and Death Focus again. Can play this card. Iceman gets +1 Thor, +1 attack, and +1 defense. Okay, that's pretty cool. And gains the aerial trait. So it's kind of like Cable if you get your Technovirus purged into the victory display. You just get +1 to our stats and the aerial trait. So you can do some aerial shenanigans. And that's very thematic too because he's sliding on ice. Force response after you change the alter ego form. Shuffle this card into your deck. Okay, Iceman has a lot of force responses. I'm not the biggest fan of them. It's kind of like Groot's counters, right? You must do it because it's a forced interrupt or forced response. Um, so this card would be really good. I love them to Arch Eagle, so that's kind of why I'm a little bit down on it right now. After you change the Arch Eagle, you have to shuffle this card into your deck. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still overall. Hmm, yeah, I don't see myself playing this a lot. If you're built up and you can get it down for free, because you can use let's see, you can use Death Focus, right, for superpower, and then use team building to play this for free. So if you have all that set up, then end game it's going to be a good card. But early game, I can't see myself spending 2 resources to put this card down. And then if I ever need to flip, I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an okay card. I think it usually be a dead card when I'm playing Iceman though. I think there could be definitely some cool strategies with it though, and it's very thematic. So I do like it as a card. And then I think is this his last card here? Yeah, okay. So Power Belt is the last card. So it's a 2 cost upgrade. Item and tech. So this one is not a superpower, which makes sense. It's a tech here. It says here that Beast made this high tech belt to help Iceman better control his powers. So it makes sense that we can't depth focus it or team building exercise it. You get +3 hit points. Hero resource, exhaust power belt, generate a wild resource for an ice card. Okay, so pretty much you can generate a resource for Iceman for I think almost all of his cards. Let's check if they're all ice cards first here. Ice, 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 ice. So this one's not an ice card, and these are ice. Okay, so but this is an upgrade, so it's okay. We won't be playing the upgrade like every single turn. So in this upgrade that we might play a lot, the ice slide is an ice card. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much a resource generator that works for all Iceman cards, except for the Cryogenic card, but that's an upgrade, so we don't have to worry about it. Yeah, cool. So he has a a resource generator for ice cards. I don't think it matters that it's going to be a wild resource because that will only be for like specific things that require a specific resource that we need that. So yeah, that really doesn't matter. Um, yeah, and we have the exhausted. Okay, so it's like once per turn. Okay, I'm over. It's a great card. You get plus 3 hit points. So I think this would probably be my main target to try to get this out first. If I'm playing Iceman, yeah, you get the 3 hit points, so it gets a little bit more bulky. He'll go up from 11 to 14 hit points, and then you just can help pay for all your other cards. Yeah, I think with using this with Depth Focus and Team Building Exercise is going to be great for Iceman to get out a lot of cards. Um, yeah, we don't have all of his cards here, right? Yeah, they didn't show us everything. So I think the biggest thing that I really want from this kit, so it hasn't showed his Thornton card. I'm sure he has at least one card, and it might not be a Thor event, but it could just be some sort of way to remove Thor, like Spider-Man's Spire Tracer. So we don't know what his Thornton card is. With this current setup, his Thor, oops, I didn't mean to click on that. His Thor is a little bit low, right? He has one Thor, and then with eyesight he can gain one, but I don't think this is a super consistent card because then every time you flip, you lose it. But that's actually super thematic, right? Because um, your eyesight, if you flip over to hero form, you're no longer like Iceman, right? You're just Bobby Drake, and then you're not on the ice anymore. So I think that's a really, really thematic card. It's super fun, but it kind of uh, contradicts his cool off here, where it's just kind of like wanting you to flip. I think this is the only card, right? His alter ego is the only thing that promotes flipping. Yeah, everything else is in hero, like this is a hero response. Even his resource generator is a hero resource, right? So it feels like he wants to be in hero form most of the time, but I see really cool flipping potential with him with cool off and with his frozen solid and how frostbite gives the enemy -1 scheme in addition to that -1 attack. So yeah, he definitely has a lot of potential for other stuff. But I think yeah, he wants to stay in hero. I think a lot. I would love to play him in justice though, like using the frozen solid as that pseudo confuse, and then make sure the villain has -1 scheme too. It's gonna be pretty big. Um, yeah. So let's see. Overall, yeah. I mean, I like his cards a lot. Oops, I keep on clicking on stuff. Sorry guys, it's my first time really using this screen record thing, but yeah, yeah. So overall, I think that is a really fun and unique and thematic kit. Um, his thwart is going to need a little bit of something, but Justin can definitely just complement that and provide that for him. The only big thing that I really want for him is another way to ready. So his only card to ready is right here, this cryokinetic perception, and you can only get that ready if you get an ice trait card when you draw a card. In addition to that, you have to be able to make a basic attack or basic defense to get that. So that means that if you're already exhausted going into the player phase, this cannot trigger unless you can get Iceman's ready up. So I'm really hoping that the cards that he has left are some sort of ready. Um, if not, we have to like protection would be a good way for him to ready a lot with what doesn't kill me. But yeah, I think Iceman's kit really is going to revolve around readying. So if we can find a way to take advantage of the ready with this Cryokinetic perception by manipulating the deck and making sure that we get an ice trait card to draw, that would be really good. Yes, I mean my overall thoughts on Iceman. I think he's one of the more thematic heroes that we've gotten, especially of late. Um, yeah, he looks super duper fun. He really feels. I mean, I've been playing it obviously, but I feel like he's gonna feel like Iceman. Um, I can already imagine putting like a bunch of frostbites on enemies after attacking or defending against them, and putting an ice blast to make them to give everyone frostbite. Um, yeah, overall, I do like the character. I'm a little bit worried about the reading thing. Um, Yeah, this is going to be a little bit preemptive, but I want to give my thoughts on what tier I think he is. I think this is super duper preemptive. But just power level wise, I think that as a support hero in multiplayer, he's gonna be super duper good. Um, he's gonna be up there with like Storm, anyone else that can, Cyclops that can really put those attachments for everyone to take advantage of. Cable with this player side, but I think Iceman's gonna be up there for multiplayer. In terms of solo, so I predominantly play solo. I don't know how good he's gonna be. I'm leaning towards like upper B tier right now with him, just because his only real big attack is the Arctic attack here. The Ice Blast is super expensive for only 3 damage if you're just trying to concentrate damage on the villain, right? It's a great minion clear, but if you're just concentrating on the villain, if you play an Ice Blast, you can't really do that much more that turn. So the Arctic attack is going to be his main source of damage. I don't know how many copies of it he has in his deck. Probably definitely at least two, maybe three. Um, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that I really like him as a character. I don't know how many times I've said that. I think that he's a great addition to the game. I think that he changes the way that we play Marvel Champions, I guess, because no other hero is going to play like him, right? I think we've gotten some heroes that kind of play similar, but Iceman looks completely different with his frostbites and really, really thematic with the frostbites as well. Just hanging out those frostbites to enemies. I think that's really, really cool. And I'm happy that he's not. I think he's groundbreaking in terms of what he introduced to the game, but I don't think he's groundbreaking in terms of power level. So I love that. I don't know if you guys have seen my videos and my shorts and stuff like that, but I always talk about how Marvel Champions doesn't have any power creep. And I think that Iceman really fits in there. I don't think any of his cards are really like that much better than any other previous heroes cards, but they fit him. And yeah, I just love how they expand the game horizontally here with Iceman. I think Iceman, I mean, that's just if you guys are worried about where Marvel Champions is going, I think Iceman is pretty indicative that it's going in a great direction because it's continuously expanding horizontally. And just we're seeing all these different new mechanics and new concepts, and the game is not reaching like a power level type of like breaking thing anymore, like with Doctor Strange or Spider Ham. Yeah, I really like this. Yeah, so overall, I think Iceman is a really, really cool hero. Um, yeah, I think he has really cool cards. He has a really good synergy too. I think he's gonna be super duper fun because he has very conditional triggers, right? Like the freeze here, you have to make a basic attack or basic defense to put out the frostbite. This right here, after you use that freeze ability, you can exhaust the card, draw a card. If it's an ice tree, you can ready him back up. So I think he has a very high potential. And I think that heroes that have this type of condition are super fun to play because when you meet those conditions, it's just awesome. But because there's so many conditions, I don't know if he has a way to make that more consistent. So I don't think he's going to be one of the stronger heroes in the game. Definitely for multiplayer, I think he's going to be great. But for solo, I don't think he's going to um, be super groundbreaking. But I mean that doesn't really matter. I think he's an awesome addition to the game. Um, yeah, and he has really cool cards. Yeah, and they're all like blue ice cards, which I really like. Okay, so yeah, this is my opinion on Iceman. Um, Sorry guys, I kind of rambled a little bit. I don't really know where I was going with the direction of this video. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Please let me know what you guys or how you guys feel about Iceman, and if you guys agree or disagree with my thoughts and concerns about him. Yeah, he looks so fun. I think I definitely do really, really want to play him. Let me talk about some aspects up before I end this video. So I think that I think an obvious pick for him is perfect defense protection. I'm not the biggest fan of perfect defense because it doesn't really work against the higher difficulty villains because you're always going to be taking damage. But Iceman can really probably do a good job with that, right? Because he's giving the enemy -1 attack here, and then he can get +1 defense with the ice slide already. And then if he has other ways, right? If you're playing defense, you give him armor vest, another +1 defense. Um, and then Defiance to cancel a boost card. I think he might be one of the better, if not the best. Probably not the best because Shadowcat's pretty good with perfect defense, but definitely one of the better users of perfect defense. Um, but like I said, I don't think that will work against Ronin because he still hits a little bit too hard. I keep on clicking on random cards. Um, yeah, I don't think it'll work against like Ronin or Magneto or Venom Goblin, but definitely he seems to be a really good recipient. I think when I play him, I think I definitely want to try him out in Justice and see if there's any shenanigans I can do with this -1 scheme, the Frozen Saw, which cancels an activation, and then just using his cool off here to try shuffle and recycle his ice cards. Yeah, I'm probably looking forward to playing him in Justice the most. I think that might be where his highest potential is, just because he can control the Thor a little bit better. But in multiplayer, especially multiplayer, a perfect defense build might be really, really good on him. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that's where, yeah, and I think leadership and aggression would be fine for him. I see that he comes with aggression cards. I'm not really going to go into the cards too much. I haven't really taken a look at them or anything, but yeah. Oh, there's Sauron there. That's pretty cool. Is he his own monitor set? Okay, I'm getting okay, kind of sidetracked here. Okay, but yeah. So these are the Iceman cards on Hall of Heroes. Yeah, and these are my thoughts on it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if it's a little bit rambly.